Okay, hello guys. So we need to count the number of digits in a number, right? So this seems like it's easy. It says it's a number, all right? So in Python, we can do it simpler way. Is basically we can simply do return and then return, right? Length and then strn. This is one approach, right? Let's see if it meets everything. Okay, every test case works, right? Or other approach could be is basically using a counter kind of thing. Okay, so counter equals to 0, something like that, and then while uh, n is less than or equal to 0, right? So what we can do is we can simply divide it by 10 and then do the whole thing, like in a loop kind of situation, right? So uh, so then after that we can simply do return something, return counter, right? So uh, not n, value equals to n, let's say value, right? And then something like 0, so something like recursion kind of thing. But what we can do is we can simply value minus equals to, but we will need to get that thing as well. So value equals to uh, remainder value should be there, right? It could be done that way as well, but I think easier is just this. Okay, so let's just check other people's solution as well. Okay, this thing runs fine. Let's just submit the code. uh, uh, why is it taking so long? Seems like my computer is frozen. Okay, it's good, very good. Let's check the solutions. Right, so length is something like that. Okay, I'll just talk about this one. Okay, so we can do something like a remainder and then count and then just adding it up, right? And then while n is greater than 0, and then what it is doing is it's counting it up, right? It's dividing, and then this is giving the floor division. This is one way to do it, right? This is just another way. That's how I did it basically. Okay, someone has done something similar but with abs. Okay, but I like this solution a lot. Not this, sorry. Oops, this one. Okay, this is a elegant solution. Okay, so basically what happens is, let's say the number is 10, right? So what happens if you come over here, 10 modulo 10 will be, remainder will be 0, right? And then when you do count is 1, right? And then after that what happens, n will be n thing, floor division 10 will be that will be uh more floor, right? So it will just be 1. Okay, so it will just be 1. And then after that what happens, 1 modulo this thing will be 1 modulo 10 will be, remainder will be 0, right? And this will be 0, right? So you see what happens is, let's just get the terminal, Python, and then 10 modulo 10. In the first instance it will be 0, right? Remainder will be 0, our count will be 1. Then what happens, n is still, it's still 10, right? 10 floor division 10 will be 1, right? So next what happens, so since it is greater than 1, another loop works, right? So another loop starts working. So in that situation what happens, in the floor division it will be 1 modulo 10. Okay, so our new n value is uh, the one that is divided by 10, right? So it will be 1, right? So our remainder is 1. Our count is what? Now 2. And then what happens? 1 modulo 1 floor division 10 will be, of course, 0. Okay, so now n becomes 0 and then it exits the loop. Okay, so that's how it basically works. Okay, so it's basically just taking a remainder, right? So basically if we had like 10 something, right? So it's doing something like this, 10 plus 0. Basically it's doing something like this. Okay, so it's just adding something like this. So suppose if the number was to be 120, 120, right? So there is 3 digits in it, right? So first, what will happen? So we do a modulo of this 10, right? It will be 0, of course. And then what happens? Count will be 1. Next thing, what will happen? 120 divide floor division by 10 will be 12, right? So it will come in, right? So it has to go through what? The next 2 iterations of it. Okay. So our count is already 1. Next thing is 12 modulo 10 will be, there will be 2 value in this, I think. 10, right? So the remainder part, we can just simply ignore it basically. And then we are simply doing 12 thing. This is only changing the value of it, right? Okay. So 12 modulo, I mean floor division 10, right? So this is giving us 1 now. So now it's going for the third round. Okay, third round in the loop. We don't need to worry about the remainder. So 1 modulo 10 will be 0. Now new value is, of course, n is 0. Now it will just get out of the loop. Okay, so this, even this code, what we could have done was uh, paste it over there, right? Count digits and then maybe 120, right? And then of course it works, but I just want to change this thing. So let's say if we did not have this thing over here, so if we had this thing commented out, right? So even then it should work. Okay, so now when I run the thing, okay, even then it works fine. Okay, even then it should work fine because we are not doing anything with the remainder value, right? So that's how we can basically solve this problem. I like this approach a lot. Okay, so thank you for your time. Take care.